Israel is going nowhere. And they're only capable of destroying themselves, not the destruction of Israel. They cannot destroy a nation that is resilient to time, that was established before history. They cannot do this. Most people in this room, if not everybody, we believe in humanity, we believe in life. They don't. They believe in the afterlife. This is where they believe. Their fear is not of death. Their fear is of life. They're afraid of life. And that's the greater fear. And this is why they seek death. It's not a privilege. And I don't respect such a death cult. And if you want to die, go die alone. You know, but to choose to kill many innocent people who choose to live, this is not up to you. And this is the crime of Hamas, and this is the crime of Islamists and jihadists.
You know, you're supposed to be one of them. You was in their schools, in their streets, in their demonstration of Hamas and Nukhba. So Nukhba today, when you saw them, you said, that's what they taught me? That's what they're teaching? To slaughter Jewish? That's what they're teaching small kids in Gaza and Ramallah?
I have experience with some of the most rigid Hamas mentalities. This is why I hated them even from my childhood. They gave me the indoctrination. Then the outcome was something completely different than what they expected. They give the people indoctrination on one hand. Then on the other hand, when their violence takes place, they start crying and say, genocide, genocide.
Would Mosab, the young boy, thought exactly like you think today? Or, you know, you saw the truth then, or it was changing during the years?
First of all, I was a devout Muslim. And I believed in Hamas ideology. I grew up in Hamas household. My indoctrination is not just as the average Hamas member. I was indoctrinated to become the next Hamas leader, as a leader, not as a soldier. And this is why it was very shocking and still very embarrassing to my father and all the Hamas elite, even the Palestinian society elite. Like, how can this be? Somebody from the household of a leadership who went to a Sharia school, who studied the Quran, who was well educated, who studied history, who saw the pain of the first intifada, of the second intifada, to just like betray his own father, betray his own people. I am not ashamed of saving human lives. And I'm not ashamed for disagreeing with what so-called Palestinian people madness. Even millions. And let be an army of one. Sooner or later, they're going to come to the same realization that their violence is a dead end and it's not going to pay off. I was not born this way. I was not born this way, and I'm not extraordinary. I just had the courage to say, I'm living among idiots. And this is the reality of Gaza. For how long we're going to go into this madness? Israel is going nowhere. And they're only capable of destroying themselves, not the destruction of Israel. They cannot destroy a nation that is resilient to time, that was established before history. They cannot do this. But the funny thing, they don't have any legitimacy. You know, I grew up thinking that there was a Palestine that had been occupied by Israel. I look into it, and Palestine is nothing but a colonial entity created by the Brits. It was never a country, and Palestinian is not an ethnicity. It's not a religion, it's not a race. So basically, anybody who claims to be a Palestinian, they don't have even any type of legitimacy. Come on, Let's put the files on the table. What gives you legitimacy? You are nobody. You are nothing. You are not even a people. You don't qualify for anything. You don't even qualify as a human society. You cannot be trusted. What so-called Palestinians cannot be trusted to be close to children the way I don't trust a pedophile to be close to the children.
I want to ask you, you said you're not afraid to die for this goal. They try to kill you?
Well, they can try.
No, but you are murtad. You guy that you left the Islam, and you due to the Quran you're supposed to be dead.
Who told you that?
I met your father.
You asked him?
Yeah, I met your father in a prison in Sijin Ofer in 2010.
Inside the prison?
He said, "If I will see my son, I will kill him."
With his own hands?
Yeah.
I dared him, if he had a gun in his hand, pointing at me, to pull the trigger, and I will give him the freedom. I'll give him the freedom. There are witnesses in this room who know how much I hard worked to protect him from his madness. It was my responsibility towards my father.
At 8th of October, if you were the Prime Minister, what would you do in Gaza for the next year to bring the victory? What you would do?
The first command, I said, evacuate the civilians, even though I don't believe many civilians are there. And I think the vast majority, if not everybody, is complicit in this crime. If it wasn't for the hostages, and if I had the power, today, not October 8th, I lied to you. Today, I wipe Gaza off the map. One shot, one instant, quickly, before even the world even realized what happened. That fast.
That brings us to Trump vision. He wants now to take them out to Jordan, to Egypt, and the Jordanian and the Egyptians said, no, we don't want them. Nobody wants the Gazian people, but everybody support them. So what do you think about it?
If you really want to do this, then send the U.S. Army, remove the border. You don't have to call the Sisi and ask all the Gazans to go into Sinai, 100 miles into the desert. And if it was up to me, beyond the Suez Canal. Until Sisi, take it, leave it, whatever, it's not going to make a difference. And if you open your mouth, the high dam, one missile, 80 million people will be floating in the Mediterranean Sea. Why from the beginning? Why from the beginning the US president needed the permission of Egypt to open the damn border and evacuate the most vulnerable civilians out of the harm's way? So to take the most powerful card from Hamas' hands. So we must go all the way to the end. Those who say that the war is over, and I tell you, I'm on my own and I speak on my own authority. My gut feeling that the war is far from over. Even though many talk about that the war is over, I don't think so. This is a long war. Even if it's going to be a truce, a small truce, it's going to be a preparation for the next war, and the next war is going to be much uglier. So I suggest that we go all the way to the end in order to guarantee 100 years of peace in the entire region. And Israel is capable of doing it. And if we do it, the United States, the rest of the world will respect Israel for eternity. But if we fail and we start to compromise here and there, it is going to be much dangerous for the Israeli security. My humble opinion.
How you find Israel?
It's always amazing to be home.
How you see Israeli dealing now, 1 year and 5 months after the 7th of October? We doing good, or we still don't understand what's going on there?
Look, it's a very difficult war. It is not just a normal situation.
what happened on October 7 and after October 7, and taking children as human shields, sacrificing thousands of people for the sake of Palestine. This is unheard of. We never had a situation, humanity never had a situation like this. Not to mention in the 21st century. There is no country, there is no democracy, there is no nation that is actually prepared for such a scenario where the parents are willing to sacrifice their children for political and financial gain, to make a political statement or to get global sympathy. Give me one example from throughout the history that a society choose to do something idiotic like this. And this is what Israel is dealing with right now. It's a very complicated and it's a losing situation anyway, not because Israel is weak, because it's already a lost situation, because Hamas made it impossible for Israel not to retaliate. And in the meantime, Hamas leadership decided to sink the boat with everybody on it in their suicidal move. So in this scenario, it was already lost on October 7. There is no winning after that. But to bring the hostages back and pay a very big price to bring the hostages back, I think is not a mistake. I think it shows humanity. It shows how important those innocent hostages to the rest of the Israeli society, while it shows how reckless the parents and the leaders on the other side who have been sacrificing children. So this is not about who's winning and who's losing and who's going to win out of this war. Hamas decided a long time ago to sink the boat with everybody on it. So now, if you ask me about the correct strategy, it's the same situation. There is no such thing. We have to deal with with this impossible situation, day at the time, moment at the time, and be spontaneous and respond accordingly. If today we have the chance to bring some of the hostages, and if that means to pause the offensive, I am with it, as long as we are bringing people alive. Now, but this is not going to be forever, because the number of the hostages is limited, and Hamas cannot play this game for eternity. And sooner or later, they must still pay the price for the crime they committed, and they're still committing.
How you felt when you saw all the guys, the big archi-terrorists that you helped to put them in jail, going out, and the Gaza people celebrating the victory?
Those who murdered, their crime cannot be washed away. Hamas killed thousands of innocent civilians during the Second Intifada and throughout 36 years of terrorism. Today, we may think about the hostage families, but have we thought about the families of the victims of Hamas terror, that now they are also witnessing the release of the perpetrators who killed their children, and they're getting away with their crime. But again, it's not about how many hostages we brought and how many terrorists we released, as much as what shows about both societies. One society is doing everything within their ability to save one human life, and the others are sacrificing an entire society to save an idea, an ideology. This is what we are dealing with. And if this has become obvious to the public, then this by itself is a victory of humanity. Justice will be delivered.
Amen. Toda rabba. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shukran.